lights on this side. Now it's just a matter of basically wiggling this thing out. And if I can grab the camera real quick. Hello everyone, welcome to this video and welcome to me working on this BMW 3 Series. This is in for a crazy overhaul. This is pretty much the creme de la creme of what you can go for on this car. We're going for all the ambient lighting, speaker lights as well added in, as well as starlights. Now I haven't actually done starlights on an F30 yet, so this will be something nice and different. And like I said, it's pretty much going to be a complete transformation, but when you look at the car, you shouldn't be able to tell straight away that it's been done. So at the moment, this is the before. Having a quick look around, you know, the car's, well, it's in really good condition. It's obviously had a mechanic in it recently, but yeah, it's in good condition. I'm super excited, and whereas removing everything off from the car as a normal way with the doors and stuff, that's pretty simple, easy. I can do that quite quickly. Taking the headliner out on these is a little bit more tricky. So without further ado, I'm going to start dismantling the car, and then we'll go into basically getting the headliner off and stuff as well. And the car will pretty much be around like 60% stripped on the interior at one point, so it'd be nice to get to that point now. So without further ado, I'm going to strip apart the car. Main thing is to get the headliner out first, and then we'll look at working on everything on the way down. So let's start off with that. So everyone, I've been able to get the headliner off. As you guys can see, looking good. Gone into ultra wide mode now, so yeah. Right, so this square here, remember that, because I am going to use that in a short moment. Now, along with taking this off, it's actually pretty easy, and you don't need to remove all the side panels. I removed this one just here. That was purely because I wanted to see if I needed to run any wires down here into the rear fuse box, but it should be all good. But like I said, that little square section just here, that's important because I need to remove that little bit of padding so I can fit in the Starlight module there. Because as you can see, looking around the rest of this, normally I like to take the Starlight box down into the boot. But in this section here, there is hardly any space to send the fiber optic rolls down into anywhere. So yes, technically I could try and fit the module in here. There's a small chance it might fit. This is the one that I'm going to be installing, but I don't think it's right. I think just over here, we can really make this work nicely. It's going to have the shooting stars as well as Twinkle effect. So it's going to work perfectly in the square. And I'll show you all just how good it looks. This is where that square padding basically goes onto. This is the replacement. Well, this is basically the actual module for the Starlight. And as you guys can see, it's pretty much the same height. This is a little bit shorter, but if I remove the top padding as well, it'll basically be the same height. And along with that, if you look at the fitment of it this way, it's near enough the perfect size. So if I can use that as the point for all the fiber optics to come into, and then I'll be able to just basically route everything here, and I can run power cables down the side. Because I want it to spread across nicely over the whole Starlight, I'm basically gonna look at lifting these up. I will glue them back on afterwards, but I want to put starlights in through underneath these sections. So I'm gonna draw squares around everything so I can make sure I remember exactly where it goes. These ones I'm probably gonna leave in place because they're in areas where it won't look too bad if there's not a lot of starlights there. But I feel like in this area here, by not having starlights in them, it'll just look a little bit wrong. So everyone, with these actual foam pads, you can pull them off fairly easily. It's just held in by glue just here, and I've just added in the dots accordingly. I've used two colors. Blue is for my main primary ones, and the red is for the shooting stars that I've got going along. So put in the blue ones first and then follow it up with the red ones afterwards. So that way you know which one's going to go to which part of the module. And that is all the holes poked in. You never forget just how long that part of it takes and just how actually kind of, it's not hard work, but it's just quite fatiguing because you're pretty much only just using your forearms unless you're using a drill. But I feel like a drill with this would be just excessive use of energy and you kind of don't really need to do that. But happy with the way the result of this looks. It looks like the owner's birthday, which is what I've gone for. Obviously the shooting stars are not part of that. It's going to look very different in a moment once all the fiber optics are put in, and that's how it looks with the groove cut out. It's not the easiest of materials to cut, but you can get it cut out. I wanted to kind of go through what it takes to get the Starlight shooting stars in. So on this kit, you've got one side with the actual Starlight, and then the other side is going to be for the shooting stars. Now, you just unwind the tops, you put the shooting star fibers in, and then you'll be able to tighten it back up and it'll basically stay in there. I always add a little bit of hot glue in there as well, just to kind of get them all to stay in there a little bit more secure. But right now I'm planning all of the shooting stars, the planning's already been done. I'm just basically putting them in and then putting them directly into here and then hot gluing it as well. So everyone, right now what I'm doing is actually kind of tidying up the fiber optics because the box is going to go up there. I want to make sure all the wiring is as like streamlined as it can be and just taking my time with it, but been able to get it all through into that gap. So it's challenging work and you do have to take your time, but it's worth it. And you know, doing something like this, it gets the weight off the actual headliner as well. So, you know, bit by bit we'll get there. And this is how I've been able to get it to look after tidying it up. I think it will be really nice clean finish like this as well. So it's got to run the Live on Earth out. But right, I'm going to start sticking all the extra pads and stuff back on and we'll be able to get this ready. And if I turn the lights off, you can all see just how it all looks. After gluing everything up, I've just added some of these weights down. I've done this one already, but yeah, they're going to be getting glued up, and then this one I'm going to leave for the time being and do that right at the end. And literally with everything removed from the car, this is how it looks at the moment, which is pretty fun. It's a pretty daunting look because you look at it and you just think, wow, that's pretty bad, but we do what we got to do, and this is how you get it done. This car's going to have a very, very crazy looking install, that's for sure. It's going to be the most ambient lighting I've done inside of a F30. 99.999% sure. We're going literally maximum on this car, so super excited to see how it looks at the end. So everyone, this is what I've done for the wiring. I've got a fuse adapter there, and that's gone into the cigarette lighter one, which is number 162. And then the earth is just over there connected up on that point. So I'm just going to tidy up everything, and then pretty much we're all done over here. It's looking real good. So excited to get this car done. So everyone, got another F30 in. This is going to a very similar install to the one that I've just done. one, I thought I'd add these in just to kind of show maybe a little bit more detail or certain bits and pieces that were a little bit different from the last one. The main difference is basically going to be the way the heat control light is now on this, and the different style of speaker lights that we're going for. So if I want to remove this panel, the fascia of it does come off quite easily, but we've basically got to disconnect the clips, one on each side. So if you use a screwdriver, you should be able to just access it like that. You can kind of see me unclipping it. So now if you could just hold the camera there, and then I should be able to record taking out just one side, and then we can do the other side here, like so. This is so awkward to do, but the awkward thing is trying to get this out. Yep, there we go. So now we can just disconnect all the points. So we've got cables coming here, so should be able to just do this with my fingers, to be honest. That's the first one. I think we do need a screwdriver for this one because the clips on it are to the side. So that is that disconnected. We've taken off the other bits. There is just a T20 underneath here, T20 underneath there. I'll show you guys how I remove those in a moment. So with this attachment here for the sun visor, you basically have to lift up this part. So by sliding in a little tool, like a little trim removal tool, you'll be able to lift this up. Then there's the T20 hole just over here that will be in there, and then this literally just pops off. So with the use of two screwdrivers, first one you want to do is just slide it into the back one over here, and then the second one, if you can just slide it up towards the top, squeeze them two together, you'll be able to slide this out. You have to do it both sides, and it will just literally pop, like slide out. You're basically compressing this back into itself, and it will allow it to slide out of the metal piece. You want to do this side first because it's just it won't keep trying to recoil back on itself. It's the same on all the way around, so the left hand side is always the one that tries to recoil back. To get access to this point, you do have these little sliding tabs, so all you really have to do is get a trim removal tool behind here and then pull it forward, and it will just pop right out. And then onto the next part of taking off this headliner. So to remove this guy, this basically does just pop off. I'm just going to quickly grab a trim removal tool. We should be able to just basically work our way around it. So I've just been able to pop it out. It's a bit awkward, but basically these tabs, they slide up towards the back, so you do have to make sure you pull it downwards like this as you're sliding it out, and then just disconnect the wiring from this. Then we've basically got near enough everything off to take out the whole headliner. So I know I said you don't need to take off these corner pieces as well as the rear ones just over there, but it's worthwhile doing to remove them now, because when it comes to reinstallation, it's a lot easier to put these on afterwards than having to put the headliner in essence through this gap. So just basically try and remove them, and it'll make life a little bit easier. Now to do that, it's not too difficult. You basically just got to work the trim removal tool in through a corner and then pop it out. It definitely is a lot easier to do with two hands, but you can just basically get the clips to just pop off. You can kind of see the clip just there, so that's what we're just trying to get to pop out. It's not too difficult, but just work on it slowly. You don't need to take it completely out, but what you want to do is get it to a point where it's like this, because this just allows the headline to slip into it nicely and then be pressed in, instead of having to press it in and slide it into this groove, which is already basically at its tightest point and where it needs to sit perfectly. So yeah, that's one bit of advice. We're going to take the rear ones off as well. They again just pop open from the top. So to remove this panel off, you really just have to pull on it nice and hard. You've got the different location points for it. These clips might be brittle, so just basically get replacement ones for any that get damaged. And you can see it just literally pops up and down, and then all we got to do is bit by bit start pulling this headliner downwards. So there's the first point removed, the clips, and we're just going to go around the whole headliner, loosen it up a little bit. So here's where I've taken a little bit of a pause moment so you guys can have a look around. I've basically dropped it down a little bit, so it is in essence at a point where we can just start sliding it out. We're going to flatten the seats, so you need to pull them all the way to the front and then lower it as far back as you can, and ideally take out the headrest as well. Just gives you just a little bit more space. So now to take this out, so what we want to do is, if I remember correctly, actually I think it's easiest through this back door because you don't have to deal with the steering wheel. So guys, I actually did make a small mistake, which was, no, it's actually easier to bring it out on this side away from the steering wheel, but because this car you can't remove, well, you can't lower the rear seats, you can't fully remove the headrest. So basically what I'm doing now is just going to maneuver it around. I've lifted that all the way up. I'm going to work as a pair like the Choco Vision brothers and slide this out through this corner. The headliner removed, so I'm just going to take it over to the main workbench now to work on this, and then we can kind of deal with everything else afterwards. But yeah, it's pretty light once you get it out. So guys, what you can do is you can actually dismantle the speaker line that comes inside of here, and it'll basically look like this, and then you can hot glue that into place, and that will allow you to get this effect, and it looks really nice. It glows up the speaker grill area really nicely. So now's the next fun part of chopping all of these up. How stunning does that look though?
Have you seen Avatar? You haven't seen Avatar?
Wow.
Right, so we've got the Underglow kit to actually go on. What I've done is at the moment I've routed all of the Underglow. So this is the one end, which is the side piece. That's going to come all the way across. We've got the back piece over here, and we've got the other side piece, and then lastly the front piece just over at the top section here. So the other thing that I've done is, so this is the livener. This is in the middle of the actual kit. That livener is going to be sent right through. We're going to bring it into the actual cabin, and then we can wire it up to the fuse box, along with the Starlight and everything else that I've got going on to this car. So that's basically my thought process at the moment. Got everything all into the right locations. Next step is going to be to clean up everything, be able to basically tape it all up. The owner of this car has actually asked me to add some screws and some mounting points in so that it stops the actual underglow from ever being able to come off. It's a personal request of his. I don't normally like adding screws into things, but he's like, look, the area that I live in, there's a lot of bumpy roads and stuff like that. I don't want anything to ever get ripped off, so I don't want to just rely on the adhesive. I'd rather get some screws and some mounts to actually put on and have everything secure. So I'm going to clean up underneath the car. You might need to lift your car up, you might not. That's completely down to yourself. But we're going to clean it up, get some isopropyl alcohol rubbed on, clean up the surfaces in which this is going to be going, and then be able to wire up everything accordingly. So I wanted to show you all what I have actually been up to, which is cleaning. You see this area here, I'm trying to get it back to perfectly white. He's got these extension parts put onto the side skirt as well, but I'm trying to go just before that. So if I go any further out, we've got these screws I need to jump over, and any further out from that, and you'll probably be able to see the screws if I do use any through here. So I don't want to do that. Sticking with this line, got to keep tidying it, cleaning it up, and then we'll get it to a good point to use the adhesive. So here's what I'm doing right now. I've fed the wires down through, and we've got the box mounted up just here. It is literally going to be hidden behind the actual rear tail light. That's basically going to be where the main module is, and along with that, got to slot this back on, and we've got our wiring basically in the right place. With all the wiring, this is where I've used as an earth point, and just over here with a fuse adapter, the third one, number 163, that is where I've used this fuse adapter as well. So I just need to tidy up the wiring a little bit here, sort out that a little bit nicer, and that is basically the wiring completed for the ambient lighting and for the Starlight and for the Underglow. And there is everything all back to how the customer brought the car in. You can see a little bit of it there, but that is the boot back to how they brought it into me. After a pretty long time working on this 3 Series, what can I say? It looks amazing. Oh man, I can't actually believe how sick this car looks. I kind of feel like I need to create a project car to match how awesome this looks, because yeah, I really like this. It's definitely something that not everyone will love, but I think people can appreciate. And again, this is with all the lighting on in the garage. Let's have a look around. So we've got the full Symphony mode Underglow all around the car. We've got it on the sides here as well. So I think right now I'm going to take some beauty shots of showing off everything, get the lights off, get the garage door open, and yeah, have some fun with it. I'll be honest, I I don't think the videos can ever do this car justice with how epic this looks behind me. It's just like the underglow. When you're up and next to the car, and when you're looking at it with everything on, it's just amazing. Like you can't get this in video where it shows everything when you're next to it, but when you're looking at the underglow, when you're looking at the ambient lighting, the footwells are done there as well, and then obviously you've got the starlights. This is an atmosphere to be in. So for now, everyone, I'm going to end the video here. If you are interested in getting this done to your car, hit me up on Instagram, or you can check out my website. That'll make getting booked in a little bit easier. The other thing as well is if you want to tackle this yourself, all the links for everything are in the description down below. And as you all know, consider subscribing to the channel to get more good car content from me. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Bye.